Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Concerned Citizens Media. I have, as you know, several things are going on these days, including the war in Ethiopia and some global issues. So I have uh, some news and a few videos to share with you. Welcome back again. Let's start with the news. The Tigray region president accused Abiy Ahmed of Ethiopia for inviting foreign country Eritrea to interfere militarily in our internal political disputes. Dr. Debretsion Gebremichael revealed that Eritrean military forces have crossed the border and have been attacking the Tigray region. He called on federalist Ethiopians to oppose this Eritrean invasion of Ethiopia. He also said Abiy Ahmed allowed Eritrean forces to attack the Tigrayan people because Abiy Ahmed couldn't handle our self-defense war against his military invasion in all corners of Tigray. He also said that the Tigray people will not surrender to Abiy Ahmed's military pressure. He repeated his call for peaceful solution for this very serious conflict. The Tigray people are under attack just for exercising their basic constitutional right and holding election. Military invasion could not be the solution for our political disagreement. Dr. Debretsion Gebremichael also calls on the international community to encourage dialogue and reconciliation between Ethiopian central government in the Tigray region to end this war immediately. Meanwhile, several media outlets already reported about the ugly sides of this war. More than 100 Abiy Ahmed military personnel were killed, and hospitals in Bahir Dar and in the surrounding area have been overcrowded by injured fighters. There are shortages of medical doctors to handle the situations, and medical students are called to assist in the handling of these injuries. Thousands of Ethiopian soldiers and civilians have also run away from conflict zone and entered the Sudanese border for their safety, according to Reuters news agency. There is no report of deaths or injuries on the Tigray region's side. There is no phone and internet service in the Tigray region. The Ethiopian government uses this service outage to cover up its genocide operations in the region. It used the same tactic of shutting down of communication in Oromia region for the last 2+ years. The Ethiopian government media, the Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, his defense personnel, government media, and pro-government private media are reporting several victories over the Tigray Special Forces, but these victories are not verified by major independent news outlets. The Oromo Liberation Front news. Oromo liberation fighters in southern Oromia zone attacked Ethiopian military camp at Moyale border with Kenya and killed 8 Ethiopian soldiers and inflicted others with life-threatening injuries. OLF fighters also confiscated several communication equipment, military uniforms, and different types of military weapons. In other operation, on November 10, 2020, in Western Guji Zone, Oromia, Bule Hora District, Gaddu Jabasire Kabale, OLF fighters destroyed the local Oromo Prosperity Party offices and confiscated various valuable government documents. They also stormed a prison and freed 10 Oromo political prisoners detained as the supporters of OLF. One of the freed prisoners is the 95 years old man named Cafe Dube, who has been denied a medical treatment for his illness. This shows the extent of cruelty on the part of Abiy Ahmed administration in Oromia and on Oromos. There are reports of OLF fighters dismantling the Prosperity Party structures in Western Wallagga zone. Credit for this news, Dursa O Abadir and Kadiro Elemo. Concerned citizens, media viewers, and the listeners are advised and encouraged to verify this Oromo Liberation Front military victory news with other additional credible news outlets. Abiy Ahmed trashed aside the concerns of domestic and the global community about the possibility of this war to widen into civil conflict. He dismissed this serious concern and possible domestic and global mediation for ceasefire and to settle this war of choice. His defense is revealed in his tweets, read below. These are from his tweets. Concerns that Ethiopia will descend into chaos are unfounded and are a result of not understanding our context deeply. Our rule of law enforcement operation as a sovereign state with the capacity to manage its own internal affairs will wrap up soon by ending the prevailing impunity. So that is a tweet from the Prime Minister, and he is saying that, don't worry, we'll take care of it, and we know how to take care of it. So he is telling all who expressed their deep concerns about this war that it is our business to handle it and do not attempt to interfere or mediate us. He knows how to control it before it reaches civil war. He repeatedly showed disregards to all who are ready to offer help to cool down the situation. Several African Union leadership, Europeans, the Americans, all advised him to settle this issue with dialogue and reconciliation, but so far he is not willing. So willingness to negotiate and end chaos, and destruction is not a sign of weakness. Rather, it is a symbol of wisdom in the leadership. I repeat, willingness to negotiate and end chaos and destruction is not the sign of weakness. Rather, it is a symbol of wisdom in the leadership. Depending on the security forces or military power, showed failure in both TPLF and Derg's administration. So that is a comment from Concerned Citizens Media. Even though you are powerful, still it is better to end with negotiation and a reconciliation, especially if you are handling domestic disputes. But so far, this is not visible from Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed and his supporters. Ethiopian American Johannes Abraham is appointed to lead the day-to-day operation of President-elect Joe Biden transition. Johannes Abraham also worked for 8 years in the White House during President Barack Obama administration. His appointment in Biden administration could play a significant role for United States-Ethiopia diplomatic relationships. Surprisingly, this news is credited for Fana Broadcasting Corporation there, so they are happy about this Ethiopian American guy. Started working with Obama administration, so they think maybe they're gonna help them with their policies in the future. We will see. The Tigray diaspora community and their supporters held a rally in Washington, D.C. against the war conducted by Abiy Ahmed of Ethiopia and President Isaias Afwerki of Eritrea. There is a sign of solidarity between Tigrayans and the Oromos, visibly with shining two flags representing these communities at this rally. The protesters gathered in front of the State Department and called on the United States to end its silence on the war. They were also carrying slogans such as Abiy Ahmed is a killer, Abiy Ahmed is a dictator, Abiy Ahmed must go, Abiy Ahmed must brought to justice, Abiy Ahmed is conducting genocide in Tigray, free all political prisoners, victory for democratic powers, and many other slogans were expressed. This unity of Ethiopians against the dictatorships in Ethiopia is a very encouraging development. As you might already seen, the demonstrators are inclusive of all the ethnicities in Ethiopia. Somalians, Afars, Walaitans, Oromos, Tigrayans, and including some Amaras participated in this demonstration. So it's a good sign. If we are united, it is easier to defeat a dictatorship like Abiy Ahmed and Isaias Afwerki. If we are divided, it is easier for them to crush us. So this demonstration, this protest in Washington, D.C. is a good sign, it's an encouraging sign. So it can shorten the lives of Prosperity Party in Ethiopia and can also promote peace and stability for all Ethiopians. So we all should stand hand in hand in fighting this dictatorship. So The only issue I see is the majority of Amarans are supporting this guy. Maybe they are thinking he's fighting for them, but he's a wrong guy from point of view of different activities, different situations happening in that country. So it's better we all unite against the dictatorship before it deep rooted in that country. If we are not united, we're gonna see another Isaias Afewerki in Ethiopia. So this demonstration again shows a strong point, bringing all Somalians, Afars, Oromos, Walaitas, and others to oppose what's happening in Tigray against Abiy Ahmed. President Donald Trump fired his Defense Secretary Mark Esper, his chief of staff, and the top officials overseeing policy and intelligence. Christopher Miller is chosen to become acting Secretary of Defense, replacing Mark Esper. This showed that how evil President Trump is. It seems he addicted to firing individuals started on his TV show Apprentice. He will continue his evil practice until he will be removed in January 2021. All his cabinets will be leaving after about 70 days. So why he is firing them now unless he is taking revenge against them for disagreement with him on the job? At the meantime, Donald Trump never conceded to his presidential loss and never congratulated President-elect Joe Biden. I do not see any route for reversal of the election results. He may be waiting for forceful eviction from the White House on or before January 2021. Concerned citizens media politely ask him and his entire cabinet to leave their posts with dignity and respect, just like in the previous administrations. The whole world is watching us, how we are accepting election losses, and be the model to others to follow. So it's better for them to go quietly with respect and dignity, just like it happened under Obama administration and before that. So they just using several excuses, fraud, or some other issues, but no credible evidence so far about the election fraud or other misconduct. So there is positive development in controlling COVID-19 in the future. Pfizer Pharmaceutical produced a vaccine effective more than 90% for COVID-19 disease. Pfizer said the vaccine was tried on 44,000 patients from different backgrounds, and the result of the trial data are very encouraging, and it has Food and Drug Administration approval for this vaccine. It is a breakthrough for the US and the global community who have been devastated by this virus. According to the report, the vaccine could be available in December of 2020, but the priority might be given to healthcare workers, supporting staff, and vulnerable part of the population. Credit CNN. The war between Azerbaijan and Armenia over the Nagorno-Karabakh is coming to an end. Russia broke the ceasefire and deployed its forces to monitor the situations. It seems serious at this time. Nobody can afford to attack the other side while the Russian forces are monitoring them. It was also reported that Azerbaijan taking the second largest city from Nagorno-Karabakh. Azerbaijanis welcomed the news of ceasefire with great pride because they are in an advantageous position in this war. However, Armenians are disappointed at their leaders on handling the war and for signing the ceasefire. Credit Al Jazeera, CNN, and others. So that was the final news. And thank you for listening, Concerned Citizens Media. And now we will listen to different videos on ceasefire of between Azerbaijan and Armenia, and how the people reacted to it. And we'll see the consequences of war, the ugly faces of war, with a video somebody shared on the Facebook about Ethiopia, and repeated calls from the United Nations to settle the conflict between the central government in Ethiopia and the Tigray region. So every time when they have briefing, they repeatedly talk about Ethiopia in the United Nations. They repeatedly call for calm and dialogue to end this conflict. So far, nobody is listening, and especially the central government is ready to crush whoever challenge them, their prosperity plan. So let's watch these videos, then we'll conclude today's presentation. See, this is the briefing from United Nations about Ethiopia. This is the first video.
Ethiopia, our humanitarian colleagues say they remain concerned about the ongoing tensions in Tigray region and their impact on civilians. We, along with our partners, are working with the authorities to ensure the protection of civilians and humanitarian workers, continued access to people in need of assistance, and availability of funding given increasing needs. On the ground, we are told that communications continue to be disrupted. There are also reports of intermittent electricity supply shortages, as well as shortages of basic commodities such as flour and fuel are also being reported. Banks remain closed, and the shortage of available cash is becoming much more acute. The closure of banks and inaccessibility to the region hamper our humanitarian operations, including the traditional humanitarian cash transfers to 1 million people. Humanitarian colleagues in Tigray have just 1 month of fuel supply to run water pumps for 90,000 refugees. Supply for several programs are also running low. The Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs is finalizing a humanitarian response plan. The UN country teams in neighboring Eritrea, Sudan, and Djibouti are also being supported to finalize their contingency plan. And just to dive a little deeper on the issue, UNHCR tells us they are working with authorities in Sudan to help more than 7,000 refugees who fled Ethiopia in the past 2 days. This obviously following the clashes in Tigray region. UNHCR and local authorities are screening and registering people who are arriving in Sudan. More refugees from Ethiopia are expected to arrive in neighboring countries. Our UNHCR colleagues are stepping up their preparations for emergency relief by working with governments and partners. We urge governments in the neighboring countries to keep their borders open for people forced to flee from their homes. And UNHCR is also asking Ethiopian authorities to take steps to allow the agency to keep providing assistance to the safety for refugees and internally displaced people who are in Tigray. Within Ethiopia, UNHCR is very concerned for the more than 96,000 Eritreans living in refugee camps and host communities living alongside them, as well as the 100,000 people in Tigray who are already internally displaced before this particular violence started. Staying in the Horn of Africa and Somalia, our humanitarian colleagues are
Okay, that is the United Nations statement on the situations in Ethiopia about the displacement of Ethiopian citizens into Sudan. As he mentioned, like more than 7,000. And the refugee situation, the Eritrean refugees in Ethiopia. And the border countries like Sudan and others should open up their border to accept, fleeing Ethiopian citizens. But the Abiy Ahmed forces try to seal the border so nobody can escape the war, and they want to kill them all. That is a strategy, but even if they kill them all, some of them, they can survive and revive again. These people are, very tough fighters. They will come back. There will not be stability and peace in Ethiopia, even if Abiy Ahmed crush the whole region militarily and try to control the whole people and force them to accept prosperity party. I don't think they will be successful in that front. That's what they try to do. They practice the same thing on Oromos, kill them, torture them, arrested them to force the prosperity party on them. Whether you accept or not. If you accept, you are fine. If you don't accept, you will be crushed. You will be jailed. They just give you names, Abaturbe or OLF or Shane. Then there is no responsibility for that matter. So that is the strategy they are working on Tigray region. They are attempting to crush them and force them to accept prosperity party. Okay, let's see the other video. Let's see, this one is about the ugly side of the war, and for not listening to the domestic concerns and for the global community's concern to settle the issue peacefully without nobody dying, without nobody injuring. The government has the upper hand, to slow down instead of competing with one region, and instead of forcing the region to attack and to surrender to the central government and punishing them for holding constitutionally mandated election. They for refusing to postpone the election like them, which is illegal. They are illegitimate. They did it on purpose by using COVID-19 as excuse. You know, we did it here. The election is done in the United States. There is no vaccine, there is no medicine, but we did the election successfully. So Ethiopia used that as an excuse to extend Abiy Ahmed's and the Prosperity Party power. That is wrong. Ethiopians should pay attention to avoid the establishment of dictatorship in Ethiopia. But so this one is, I'm going to show you a little bit, but it is disturbing, and it should not be. You should not be. You shouldn't let the children watch this video. It seems it's disturbing. You know, look like. Uh, it look like funeral or some kind of carrying dead bodies. Uh, so this is the ugly sign of the military conflict, and it is a war of choice on the government side. Could be avoidable, but they choose to do this. But who are dying? The lowest class, not the higher prosperity party leaders. Okay, let's see. These are all dead bodies. Okay, they're just carrying them somewhere. I don't know, maybe taking them to funeral area. It's not clear, but they're carrying the dead bodies. Okay, that's enough. That's enough about this ugly video. That's why we urge the Ethiopian government to listen to some of the political parties expressed concerns and to the global community's concerns about such kind of ugly consequences of war. You know, we know senior leadership is not dying in the conflict. Mostly the lower, the soldiers and the residents are mostly the victims. The one the UN mentioned 7,000. These are mostly, the residents running for their lives. So I think it's better to cool down and see how to resolve this before more and more people die in both sides, from the government and from the Tigray region. And we have been, concerned citizens media has been expressing constantly its concerns about this issue. And, and we know this is coming because we don't have leadership. And the one we have is greedy about power. Unexpectedly changed his mood, his everything. He became a dictatorship, became greedy about power. It doesn't look like greedy when he started, but now he can kill, he can destroy life for his power. So, and before this is happening, we warned not to head in this way. Now it's already we are there, and how we gonna stop it now? So this is left for all Ethiopians to stand together again and do whatever we can to stop it through demonstration, through lobbying the United States, the European Union, United Nations, raising our voice to end this conflict before further and further chaos and the destruction is happening. Okay, that's enough about Ethiopia. Now, the next video is, let's see. Sorry. Yeah, something wrong with this. Sorry. This is terrible. Yeah, it's bad. Wow. This is crazy. I'm sorry, something happened here on my phone. Jesus Christ. Okay, I don't know how to stop this video. Okay. Okay, I have to turn it off. This is crazy. I apologize for the disturbance. Still, we are literate on the video, and something is not working right. So be patient with me until I bring back the two videos. Then I will be finishing soon. Okay, we're gonna go to the Nagorno-Karabakh, the conflict between Azerbaijan and Armenia. I have two videos to share. One is Azerbaijan side, it's a happy mood celebration. The other one, Armenian side, disappointment and the chaos, request for the removal of the prime minister. So first, let's see the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict, 1,000 protests, ceasefire. Let's see.
This week at Dick's Sporting Goods, get Nike fleece for the whole family. Outerwear from their favorite brands. Footwear from Nike.
This is Armenians opposing the ceasefire and blaming the government for defeat in the war, and calling for the removal of the prime minister, their prime minister. As the security officers arresting the protesters.
Celebrations on the streets of the tiny town of Dansha in northern Ethiopia. Residents came out to welcome.
Okay, that's the protest in Armenia against the government and for signing the peace or ceasefire. I don't know. They want to continue the fight, I think, but they are losing. So the government has no choice. If they continue the fight, the Azerbaijanis will take all the Nagorno caravan. So the government has no choice except accepting the ceasefire. Now let's see the Azerbaijanis celebrate peace, the ceasefire.
When one car seat lasts 10 years, Mom wins. That's why it's the #1 most loved.
As a celebration in Azerbaijan for the ceasefire. Two extremely opposite reaction for this conflict.
Temas xətti və Laçın dəhlizi boyu Rusiya Federasiyasının 1960 sayda odlu silahlı hərbi qulluqçusundan 90 hərbi zirehli texnika, 380 ədəd avtomobil və xüsusi texnikadan ibarət sülhməramlı kontingenti yerləşdirilir. Ermənistan Respublikası 15 noyabr 2020-ci il tarixinədək Azərbaycan Respublikasına Kəlbəcər rayonunu 1 dekabr 2020 yıl tarixinədək isə Laçın rayonunu qaytarır.
That's like honeymoon for Azerbaijanis. Thanks to the global news. Okay. So that's it. And that is enough for today. And I will be back again with more news and maybe good news on hopefully on Ethiopia and other global issues. So let's pray for good news for next time. Let's keep our unity against the dictatorship in Ethiopia, to create peace, stability in our country for all citizens. So we have to unite, try to minimize our difference, reconcile on issues, and fight against the prosperity party before it is deep rooted. It's gonna be, I repeat, it's gonna be a dictatorship like Eritrea, because he is advised, counseled by this guy, and as I said before, there is no freedom in Eritrea, there is no constitution, there is no election, there is no opposition parties. It's a one-man show, as I said before. It's a security nation. You will be snatched, taken away, and imprisoned, killed for saying something against Isaias Afwerki. So we don't want this thing to happen in Ethiopia. If we don't want this thing to happen in Ethiopia, this is the time to stand against this prosperity party or Abiy Ahmed, because we see the sign already. He's applying power, military, police, special security forces to crack down any dissident. So this is not a good sign. It's not a democratic country. It will not be a democratic country, and there will not be a free and fair election in such situation. You're gonna see it if you are keep quiet and silent and divide yourself into different issues, and they will not be defeated in that way. The only way to defeat them is if we all united against them. Thank you for listening, and so long everyone. See you next time.